Your credit card just got declined at the grocery store for $63. When you check your account, you see $127 to last you until Friday, but it's only Monday, and your rent is due in 5 days. If you are watching this video, you're probably 30 days away from a decision you never thought you'd make. It's the kind of decision that 78% of Americans are facing right now. The question isn't if it could happen to you, but when. Let's do some third-grade math that apparently every economist has forgotten. The median American makes $27 an hour. After taxes, that's about $3,500 a month. Now watch what happens to that money. First, the average rent hits you for $1,870, leaving you with $1,630. Next, groceries for just one person strip away $400, so now you're holding $1,230. Then the car payment and insurance take a $600 bite, bringing you down to $630. Finally, once utilities and your phone cost you $300, you are left with a final balance of just $330. $330. That's your margin of error. One dental emergency, one car repair, 1 week of flu. That's why 2.5 million Americans are living in vehicles. Not because they're bad with money, because the math simply doesn't work. 2.5 million Americans are living in vehicles right now, while working full-time. You've bought coffee from them, they've delivered your packages, they've taught your children. Teachers, nurses, warehouse workers. People with jobs are sleeping in parking lots because even a paycheck isn't enough anymore. But that's just the visible ones, the ones brave enough to admit it. Add in the people crashing on couches, the extended stay motel residents paying weekly, the adults who temporarily move back with parents. 15 million Americans are functionally homeless right now. 1 in 25. Meanwhile, 11 million homes sit empty. Not for sale, not for rent, just empty. The math is simple. We have more empty houses than homeless people, by a ratio of 7-1. Meet the 3 companies that own your future, and they're hoping you never learn their names. Invitation Homes, 480,000 properties. American Homes for Rent, 260,000 properties. Progress Residential, 140,000 properties. Combined, they control over 800,000 single-family homes. Homes that used to be owned by families, by people like you. And they're backed by $14 billion from BlackRock, JP Morgan, and Morgan Stanley. Here's how the scam works. Step 1. Buy thousands of houses with Wall Street cash. Step 2. Refuse to sell to regular families. Step 3. Rent them at rates that make mortgages impossible to save for. Step 4. When people can't afford rent, buy more houses that foreclose. It's the perfect loop. They create the crisis, then profit from the crisis. And the result? Rent has increased 43% in 5 years, while wages increased 11%. This isn't capitalism. It's feudalism with algorithms. You might be asking, why doesn't the government do something? Great question. Let me show you why. In 2024, real estate companies donated $467 million to political campaigns, both parties and all levels. That's more than the entire defense industry, more than Big Pharma, more than Big Tech. They've bought silence and it's working. 0 federal bills passed to limit corporate home ownership, 0 regulations on algorithmic rent pricing, 0 penalties for keeping homes vacant. In fact, it's illegal in most states to occupy an abandoned home, even if it's been empty for years, even if you're homeless, even if you would maintain it. The punishment for being homeless? Jail. Fines you can't pay. Criminal record that makes renting impossible. The punishment for owning 11 million empty homes? Tax breaks. Vienna has public housing that costs €400 a month. Singapore has government housing for 90% of residents. Helsinki ended homelessness in 10 years. We know the solutions exist. We're just not allowed to use them because it would hurt quarterly earnings. But here's what Wall Street didn't account for: mathematics. When 78% of your population is one paycheck from homelessness, they stop buying anything except survival. No new cars, no restaurants, no vacations, no anything. Consumer spending makes up 70% of the American economy, and consumer spending is collapsing. Not because of a recession, because rent ate the economy. And people are starting to notice. Cleveland just passed mandatory rent control. Minneapolis banned corporate home ownership. Los Angeles is seizing vacant properties for public housing. These aren't theories, they're happening right now in America. The revolution isn't coming, it's here. The only question is, are you going to join it? Or wait until it's your turn in the parking lot? America is writing two different endings to this story. Path 1. By 2027, average rent hits $2,400. Minimum wage stays at $7.25. Half of Americans live in vehicles, shared rooms, or communal housing, which is just corporate barracks with better marketing. Path 2. The Cleveland model spreads. Cities build social housing. Workers refuse exploitation. The three companies hoarding houses are forced to sell. Price is correct, and humans matter again. The decision happens this year. Not in Washington, in your city and in your neighborhood, in your next choice. Join a tenant union, vote for rent control, support public housing, refuse to compete in their rigged game. Because the alternative isn't just losing your apartment, it's losing everything that made America worth living in.